Page 2266. Page 2267. Page 2268. Page 2269. Page 2270. Page 2271. Page 2272. Page 2273. Page 2274. Page 2275. Page 2276. Page 2277. Page 2278. 2279. 2280. 2281. 2282. 2283. 2284. 2285. 2286. 2287. 2288. 2289. 2290. 2291. 2292. 2293. 2294. 2295. 2296. Yes. 2297. 2298. 2299. 2200. 2299. 2300. 2300. 2300. 2301. Distinguished Senator Abaribe, the only man standing.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain in Abaribe. I represent Abia South and I rise to move that we adopt the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 20th May 2025. I so move.
Distinguished Senator Yaradua.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Abdulaziz Musa Adwa, representing Katsina Central. I rise to second the motion ably moved by Senator Abaribe that we adopt the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 20th May 2025. I so second, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceedings are hereby approved. I wish to acknowledge the presence of staff and students of Christa Brains College, Kubwa, in Abuja, who are in the gallery to observe Senate proceedings. I want to wish you fruitful observations of today's proceedings and journey mercies back to your school. You may be seated. Just for the information of distinguished senators, that Mr. President has assented to the bill on the Federal University of Technology Ilaro Establishment Act 2024. So I want to congratulate the good people of Ilaro, particularly the good people of Ogun State, particularly the chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriation, and pray that all who pass through there will have good education, brighter future, prosperity, and peace that passeth all understanding. Yes, you notice that no weapon fashioned against this microphone shall prosper. So Ilaro, it had to be announced. Congratulations to all. And to my colleagues for the great job done. And Mr. President, for always giving assent to decisions of this August Assembly. Any petitions?
Petition. Petition.
Okay. Yes, carry me.
Thank you, Mr. President. My colleagues, my name is Carry Me Sunday Steve. I represent the people of Kogi West. Mr. President, I have a petition from one of my constituents and also a staff of National Assembly, Zainab Umar Danladi, who paid Turkish airline for a trip to Turkey and also through Strasbourg in France in 2024, but he was unable to make that trip and the ticket was open. But now Turkish airline is trying to, in a way, deny her of our fund and our payment and our journey. So the ticket will be, which is open for 1 year, will soon elapse. So she's bringing this petition, which has not, she's not in court, so that we can intervene, so that she won't be denied of her right.
Any legal impediments? Then proceed to lay the petition. The petition is hereby referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate in 4 weeks. Yes, the same Senator Odende. Point of order. Which order, please?
Order 41 and 51.
You may read.
So, my name is Senator Emmanuel Memga Udende. I'm coming under Order 41, which says matters for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before the commencement of the day sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. Order 51 says notice shall be dispensed with in the case of motion or in respect of any other proceedings for which notice is required, except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the General Assembly of the Senators. So the combined effect of these orders give you a discretion to allow to dispense with notice. And my point of order is premised on the demise of one of my predecessors, Senator Joseph Akagege, who was also a military administrator of Katsina State.
Distinguished colleagues, do you have copies, or do you want to? You don't. Have you distributed copies of the motion?
Not quite.
Then come by way of personal explanation.
Okay. Mr. President, dear colleagues, I rise under Order 42 of the Senate Standing Orders relating to personal explanation to formally inform these esteemed chambers of the passing of our colleague and one of my predecessors, Senator Joseph Yoshai Akagege, who represented Benue Northeast Senatorial District in the 6th Senate 2007 to 2011. He died born on May 1956 in Bega, Constitutional Local Government of Benue State. Senator Akagege was a proud son of Tiv Nation. His early education spanned NKST Primary School Bay and Ikawe, followed by Government Secondary School Boko. He embarked on a distinguished military career, enrolling in the Nigerian Defense Academy 1976 to 1977, and furthering his training at Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, UK, 1977 to 1979. Rising through the ranks, he held various command and staff positions. In August 1998, during the Nigerian transition to democracy, he was appointed military administrator of Katsina, as serving until May 1999, where his tenure was marked by efforts to stabilize the state and support the democratic process. Parallel to his military service, Senator Akagege pursued academic excellence. He earned an LLB and LLM degrees from University of Jos and a PhD in international economic law from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. He was called to bar 1985. He established his chambers, J.I. Akagege and Co., contributing significantly to the legal profession. His political journey started with the United People's Party, UNPP, contesting senatorial elections in 2003. In 2004, he joined People's Democratic Party, and in 2007, he was elected to the Senate representing Benue Northeast. As a senator, he prioritized healthcare, initiating free medical health schemes that benefited thousands. He also served as a publicity secretary for Northern Senators Forum. Senator Akagege was deeply rooted in the community, holding traditional title of Ambeo Konshisha. He was married, craved the indulgence of the Senate that if I be allowed to bring a formal motion tomorrow.
Circumstances.
In the alternative, if the Senate is not obliged to grant
the civil senator. The civil senator, then I believe before you go further, I saw Senator Abamoro. Where is he now? I saw Senator Abamoro protesting, I'm sure the demise of our late colleague actually touched him. I'm sure you would have loved to have a say, but because he's coming under Order 42, which is personal explanation, you are denied that opportunity. So I will advise. I will advise that you come with a substantive motion tomorrow, because in the chambers he had colleagues in the 6th and 7th assemblies who knew him and who would like to say something. So if it is okay by the Senate, is it the view of the Senate that he be allowed to come through substantive motion to enable others to contribute? Those in support say aye, those against say nay. The ayes have it. So your point of order is noted. Having brought the issue before us, I think we should pay respect to our late colleague by observing 1 minute silence in his honor. It should be tomorrow. The man has already died, though. This one that you are postponing his tribute, his honor. Okay, so in line with your suggestion tomorrow then. Yes, Abbas.
Mr. President, I am Senator Aminu Abbas, representing Adamawa Central Senator District. Mr. President, I want to come under Order 41, 1 and 2. Mr. President, I earlier spoke to you about it, about the resurgence of Boko Haram in my state and other northeast states. If you allow me, the copies have been made and they are going to be circulated for me to take the motion, Mr. President.
Abbas, you mentioned to me,
Yes.
and I said you could bring it up because it's a matter of urgent national importance. But I don't think there's any senator that has a copy of the motion.
Mr. President.
Huh? Do you have the copies?
Yes.
You have the copies, yeah?
They're bringing it.
So is it the view of the Senate that despite our rules that he be allowed to proceed? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it, so you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, this motion permits the resurgence of Boko Haram in some states in the northeast. Mr. President, permit me to present as follows. The Senate should note that the incidents of Boko Haram attacks on communities in Hong local government left thousands of innocent people homeless and displaced. Further note that the frequent attack directly affects the following communities, among others. On February 25th, 2025, in Kobre and Za were attacked. The whole towns were burned down, schools destroyed, and many people injured. On the 15th of April 2025, communities of Banga and Lar were attacked. 5 people were killed. Houses, schools, and churches were burned down. On 26th of April 2025, corporate community was attacked. 11 vigilante members were slaughtered. And senators should note that those vigilantes came to support the community all the way from Hawu local government, Borno State. They were slaughtered on that day. On the 16th of May 2025, Kulda community in Garhawot of Home local government was attacked. 16 people were killed. 90% of the houses, including place of worship, were burned down. On the same day, the community was also attacked in Gayawot in Hong local government. 6 people were killed. The entire town was burned down. The Senate should also note that the neighboring local government of Gombe has as well been under Boko Haram attacks since on 17th of January 2025. 5 people were killed on the 2 attacks on the local government. Senators, you are aware that the resurgence of Boko Haram activities cut across the northeastern states of Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa. Worried that the unfortunate activities of Boko Haram affect the economic activities of the affected areas, and most of the local government now reside within the local government headquarters. By extension, the whole region and the country at large, people in the affected areas no longer go to farms and normal trading activity. The stop that if no proactive action taken, the Boko Haram insurgency is capable of spreading to wider communities in the north and beyond. Resolve, while commending the brilliant performance of our law enforcement agents, the Senate should urge for the establishment of military base in home local government area for the enforcement of the existing personnel of the Nigerian Army and other sister security agencies operating within the area. Direct the National Emergency Agency to provide relief material to cushion the effect of the attacks on the affected communities. I so move, Mr. President.
The Chief Whip.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. The Senate may be interested to know that I brought a similar motion last week, and the Senate, with unanimity, supported all the prayers embedded in that motion. I also want to seize this opportunity to commend the Nigerian military for their determination and enthusiasm in the fight against Boko Haram insurgency, and for the political will and support given to the Nigerian military by the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, towards discharging their mandate. Mr. President, distinguished senators, if I can refresh your memory, human memory being momentary, that at a point in time, 2/3 of the local governments in Borno and Yobe State are under the firm control of Boko Haram. But as a result of the political will by the government and support, as well as the zeal, determination, and enthusiasm displayed by the military and the gallantry, Boko Haram was decapitated. The local governments that were hitherto under the firm control of the Boko Haram insurgents were liberated, and Nigerian authority was restored. Mr. President, distinguished senators, before, even in the wildest of my dreams, I cannot think of going to my constituency or to my hometown, even in the wildest of my dreams. But today, I can go to my hometown and sleep with my 2 eyes closed. It's as a result of the fight, the gallantry and resilience displayed by the Boko Haram insurgents, by the Nigerian military. But what we have now is there is a resurgence. There is a resurgence of the Boko Haram insurgency to the extent that they attack our military formations, dislodge them, and cut away military equipment. For example, last week, a military base in one of my local governments of Marte was attacked, and about 5 soldiers were killed. And they burned all the government lodge, the police station, and what have you. And just 2 days ago, Boko Haram went to one of my local governments of Kukawa and Baga in particular. In one of the communities, they massacred 23 people. And in another community, they went and massacred 40 people. And the main reason why they did that is that there is faction between the two, between Boko Haram. There is the ISWAF and there is Boko Haram. So the two communities, according to them, they allegedly gave their allegiance to one of the factions of the Boko Haram by way of paying taxes to one of the factions. So the other faction came to these two communities and queried them as to why they should pay allegiance to the other faction and then massacred them. So there is a resurgence in the activities of Boko Haram. And the main reason why there is this resurgence is when we are able to achieve relative peace in the northeast, and as a result of the avalanche of banditry and other security concerns across the nooks and crannies of the country, the Nigerian military is overstretched. And most of the equipment and personnel were redeployed to the northwest, where we have the problem of banditry and what have you. So the Boko Haram now took advantage of the vacuum created as a result of redeployment of military hardware and soldiers to the northwest in order to fight banditry, to now start fighting, and that is what brought about the resurgence of Boko Haram now in the northeast. And we have sat with the military chiefs and discussed in details as to what they are going to do. And these are not things that I'm going to discuss here in public. But right now, as I'm speaking to you, there is redeployment to the northeast, particularly in my constituency. The numbers were increased. More military hardware are being deployed in order to confront the Boko Haram insurgency and then live in the boat the resurgence that we are now witnessing. Thank you.
That's from what the chief whip is describing. It will look like there must be continuous vigilance. Because like you said, anytime they fight abets and they think that the military has relaxed, then they will catch them unawares by sporadic attacks. And when they are unprepared, they end up losing lives and properties. Our borders are very porous. So even when they escape from Nigeria, because some of them are not from Nigeria, they still find their way in at any time and crossing to attack our people. Is there anybody that is opposed to this motion? If there is nobody opposed to the motion, then we can go straight to the prayers. The motion is actually sponsored by very distinguished Senator Aminu Abbas, Senator Reverend Amos Johanna, Senator Yaro Binus Dauda, Senator Kaka Shehu Liman Lawan, Senator Mohammed Mongodo himself, Senator Ali Ndume, Senator Abdul Ningi, Senator Smaila Kila, Dr. Senator Omar Shobuba, Senator Mohammed Danjuma Goje, Senator Ibrahim Hassan Dankwambo, Senator Anthony Yaro, Senator Haruna Manu, Senator Shuaibu Issa Lao, Senator David Jimikuta, Senator Ahmad Ibrahim Lawan, Senator Mohammed Ibrahim Bomai, Senator Musa Mustafa, amongst others. So quite unfortunately, a lot of lives were lost. And people are still losing their lives. And from what they are saying, it looks like some communities are still paying allegiance to one faction or the other of the Boko Haram. So the prayer one While commending the brilliant performance of the law enforcement agents, we urge for the establishment of a military base in Hong local government area to ensure reinforcement to the existing personnel of the Nigerian Army and also other security agencies. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against prayer 1 say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, direct NEMA to provide relief materials to cushion the effects of the attacks on the affected communities or the survivors. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Any additional prayer? Yes, Senator Hassan Dankwambo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Senator Ibrahim Hassan Dankwambo, representing Gombe North. I think we should observe 1 minute silence, for the people who have been killed in all these attacks. Thank you, Mr.
Distinguished Senator Bino Siaro.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Bino Siaro, Adamawa South. I rise to second the additional prayer as moved. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, additional prayer is to refer that the Senate should pay tribute to the departed by observing 1 minute silence in their honor. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, Senator Wangono. Additional prayer?
Additional prayer is to defend that members of the Nigerian military who have paid the supreme price in the course of this fight, we should also observe 1 minute silence in their honor. No, we should single out them. We should mention them specifically.
Noted. Yes, this is Senator Siraki Dixon.
Henry Siraki Dixon, Bayelsa West. Mr. President, the point I wanted to draw your attention and the attention of the Senate concerning the first prayer is that no matter the justification, this Senate sitting down and directing that a particular military facility be established, in my view, is overstepping the power. We are encroaching on the powers vested on the President of the Federal Republic, who is the Commander-in-Chief. That's why he's Commander-in-Chief. So I just wanted us to, if possible, rephrase it by saying that they should take appropriate actions. But to direct that, go and establish a military formation in so place, go and do so in another place, is an infraction on the President's power of command and control as Commander-in-Chief. We cannot do so. We can only say they should take appropriate actions, but to say in so specification, so location, go and do this, then we will be the Commanders-in-Chief. Which is not what the Constitution has given to us. So I just wanted to express that caution.
Your additional prayer is noted. May we rise for 1 minute silence in honor of the departed. May the souls of all our brothers and sisters who died in the recent attacks in the northeastern part of Nigeria, whether civilian or military, rest in perfect peace.
Alida, muka gaba wannan kesin da kawo gaban gaba.
Ai hankali na tashi ba samu ba Allah ka san wannan.
So let me thank the distinguished Senator Aminu Iyabas for bringing that motion.
Constitutional point of order, sir.
Yes.
So, your
Constitutional point of order, which part, which section?
section 217, subsection 1 to Akosa. Senator Wasiu Eshinokun Sani, establishment and composition of the armed forces of the Federation. 27(1). There shall be an armed forces for the Federation which shall consist of an army, a navy, an air force, and such other branches of the armed forces of the Federation as may be established by an act of the National Assembly. 2172. The Federation shall, subject to an act of the National Assembly made in that behalf, equip and maintain the armed forces as may be considered adequate and effective for the purpose of defending Nigeria from external aggression and co. So, to say that the National Assembly cannot direct, that will be misconstruing and that would be a false narrative. The National Assembly is empowered to so do. We must not, it is our responsibility to so do. Without an act of National Assembly, even the president cannot, despite the fact that he has all the powers for effective administration and whatever, but he must be empowered by the National Assembly. So we have not crossed the line. Thank you, sir.
Well, distinguished Senator Eshilogun, I have noted your point of order, particular section, constitutional point of order, particular section 2173, 2C, that the Federation shall, subject to an act of the National Assembly, make in that behalf for the adequate security of the nation, even for the purposes of suppressing insurrection and acting in aid of civil authorities to restore order when called upon to do so by the President, but subject to such conditions as may be prescribed by an act of the National Assembly. It means the Commander-in-Chief will still take charge, but subject to the certain conditions made by the National Assembly. So it's a collaborative effort, but it doesn't take away the power of the Commander-in-Chief to direct anywhere to, and it also does not take away the power of the National Assembly to suggest the establishment. We noted that, so your point of order is noted. Leader of the Senate.
Our issue was stood down, sir.
Which one?
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the first business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of His Excellency Most Distinguished Senator Barau Jibril, Deputy President of the Senate, on the Nigerian Cooperative Societies Act, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2025, SB 828. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigerian Cooperative Societies Act, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2025, SB 828, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Nigerian Cooperative Societies Act, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2025, SB 828, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the second business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of Most Distinguished Senator Kawo Sulaiman on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2025, SB 805. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2025, SB 805, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2025, SB 805, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of Most Distinguished Senator Karimi Sunday Steve on the National Assembly Financial Management Bill 2025, SB 820. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Assembly Financial Management Bill 2025, SB 820, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, National Assembly Financial Management Bill 2025, SB 820, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of Most Distinguished Senator Ndume Mohammed Ali on the Federal College of Agriculture, Shani, Borno State Establishment Bill 2025, SB 829. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal College of Agriculture, Shani, Borno State Establishment Bill 2025, SB 829, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal College of Agriculture, Shani, Borno State Establishment Bill 2025, SB 829, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of Her Excellency, Most Distinguished Senator Adebule Idiat Oluranti on the Federal Housing Fund Act Amendment Bill 2025, SB 830.
Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Housing Fund Act Amendment Bill 2025, HB 830, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal Housing Fund Act Amendment Bill 2025, SB 830, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the sixth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Osita Ngo on the Federal Technical College, Ngo, Enugu State Establishment Bill 2025, SB 831. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Technical College, Ngwo, Enugu State Establishment Bill 2025, SB 831, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal Technical College, Ngwo, in Enugu State Establishment Bill 2025, SB 831, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, and very distinguished colleagues. The first order of the day is the second reading of the Informal Sector Employment Agents Registration and Licensing Bill 2025, SB 629. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Tuesday, 29th October 2025. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Musa Mohammed Sani, aka 313, to move the motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Distinguished Senator Musa Mohammed Sani, Chairman, Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, my name is Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East. My bill and the lead debate is on Informal Sector Private Employment Agencies Regulation Bill. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on the bill that seeks to regulate and formalize the employment of domestic workers, apprenticeship, interns, and other informal sector employees in Nigeria, and to empower the National Directorate of Employment to issue license and monitor and regulate privately owned employment agencies, whose responsibility will be to enroll employees in their data bank, safeguard and enhance their social security, and oversee their recruitment by employers who engage in legitimate occupation on such terms and conditions as may be agreed by the parties. The bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Tuesday, 29th October 2024. The informal sector is usually regarded as the residual labor market, where labor is highly heterogeneous and sources of income are not largely wage dependent. Working time is discretionary and some jobs are not paid at all. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the wide range of information available is that the operations in this sector are usually in small scale, that production technique is labor intensive, and that ownership is usually private. In most cases, the workers in this sector are family members, apprentices, and few paid employees. Issues in informal sector labor practices within the informal sector of Nigerian economy shows evidence of violation of employees' rights and non-implementation of labor regulations. Although the informal sector provides a safety net for skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled labor who could not find job in the formal sector of the labor market. However, informal sector in Nigeria has practices that are not in conformity with the International Labour Organization ILO best practices as ratified in its conventions. Notwithstanding that Nigeria is a signatory to these conventions, there is still a lot of deficit in the implementation of these conventions. One of such areas of concern relates to decent work deficit. Decent work is work with fair and equal treatment, decent remuneration, and fair conditions of employment, safety and social protection, opportunities for training and development, and collective bargaining. The primary goal of this bill is to regulate the sector to promote strategic objectives, the promotion of rights at work, employment, social protection, and social dialogue. On the contrary, many jobs in the informal labor market in Nigeria still experience decent work deficit. Employees in the informal sector are often seen as having no rights and are not treated fairly by their employers. All of this bill seeks to correct. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this bill empowered the National Directorate of Employment to seek license and monitor the activities of employment agencies throughout the country. The National Directorate of Employment therefore shall, on an application from an agency who desire to function as an employment agency, in the prescribed formats, issue a license after having been duly satisfied that the agency is registered either as a sole proprietorship, partnership firm, company, or as a non-profit organization. The agency maintains proper books of accounts, memoranda of association, rules, bylaws, as the case may be, and these details of the office bearers of the organization and details of persons employed by such agency. There is no criminal cases pending against the said agency or agency owners in both. The premises of all place to be used for the purpose of placement of all employment agency exists as per requirement and by notification in the Federal Government Gazette. 1. Appoint such persons, being officers of the National Directorate of Employment, as it thinks fit to be licensing officers, and define the limits within which a licensing officer shall exercise the jurisdiction and powers conferred on licensing officers under this bill. Given the importance of the informal sector to our national economy, which of course many other countries have done the same. If you go to other countries where the economy is doing very well, you will see that they have employment agencies. So I urge you all to support this bill for the second reading. Thank you, and God bless the Senate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, this is Senator Dick Plank.
Sorry, sir. My mic is coming up, sir. Distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Dick Plank. I am representing Plateau Central. I'm also the chairman, by your provisions, the chairman, Senate Committee on Labor, Employment and Productivity. I rise to make an observation. Yes, sir. Because as popular as this bill is, and the desire of the bill to sanitize the private sector employment of domestic workers and other informal workers. Last year in this Senate, we had a similar bill by Senator Babangida that had undergone public hearing. And that bill, the content of that bill is the same thing with the desire of my senior colleague, who thoughtfully desire that this should be implemented. The bill has undergone public hearing. The resolution of the public hearing is already available in the Secretariat for third reading. So as a new senator who knows little, I wish to just bring our attention to this job brought by our senior colleague. But again, I feel it's like they are the same thing. The only difference here is that he wants it to be under NDE, but the other one is domiciled in the Ministry of Labor, where in the Ministry of Labor there's a section that deals with employment, welfare, and security of employees. Yes, the NDE is an agency. So I think that's just the two differences. But I brought this for attention, probably if there's a way this beautiful bill and the one that has undergone the third reading could be looked into. Thank you so much.
This is Senator Adam Soshimole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me appreciate my very dear friend, distinguished Senator Musa, for this proposed bill. First, we need to visit the law that established the National Directorate of Employment. Its function is to carry out, is to employ people, skill them, basically to create a short gap employment opportunities and training. It cannot be involved in licensing people to have the right to, as a recruitment agency. That function is provided for in the Federal Ministry of Labor and Productivity. Number two, sir, one of the ancestors, Governor Kalu, former Governor Kalu, you can't arrest anymore. You can't arrest a senior president. And now he's supported by Governor Kalu.
He's a senator now, sir.
Mr. President, sir, Chief Whip, Chief Whip, enforce the rules of the Senate.
Please speak to please speak to the chair.
Address the chair.
Address the chair, not the chief whip.
I believe the intention of I understand the intention of this bill, but we have to be careful. If we are not careful and we create a situation where any one of us, any Nigerian, can go and apply, quote, for license to be an agent to employ people, we are going to create multiple slave labor centers. The issue of who has the right to employ is a very, very important matter. Evil criminals could go and register to become labor employers. What is going on right now, sir? And I will advise my colleague here to do some inquiry within Abuja and even within federal ministries who have chosen, for example, to use employers of labor to employ their security guards. I have visited at least 3-4 federal ministries. Mr. President, I was shocked to find that people who are working in these ministries as security men, their salaries are 40,000 naira a month, some even less. So these people register themselves as private employment, private employers. And the real people who need the service of these workers may pay as much as 200,000 or 150,000 naira to the employee in the name of the employee. That money is paid to the labor employer, who in turn they pay a fraction to the actual employee. In fact, right now, sir, in the banking sector, just to tell you how serious it is, even in the formal sector, not to talk of extending it to informal sector,
Right now, sir, and I think it is worth investigating by our Committee on Labour, you will find some of the major banks in Nigeria, I don't need to mention them, I use all major banks. About more than 50% of their employees are contract employees. They are employed by private labor, which the owners of the bank set up. The bank invoice higher wages in the name of these employees, but the private employer of those employees pay these employees a fraction. So when you say somebody working in a bank, you think he's a bank employee. He is not. Now what is the danger? The day the employee retires or is fired, he has no gratuity because he's not an employee known to the bank. It is the private labor employer. So I think things like this, sir.
So what do you think?
Like Frank said, I think we need to sit down and do a proper.
You think that this bill is seeking to formalize that illegality?
Yes, sir. It will even complicate it, with all due respect.
That's why I said
I'm a labor man and I know what I'm talking about. It will completely complicate it. The Federal Ministry of Labor has statutory responsibility. They have a department that is in charge of ensuring health and safety, ensuring that various aspects of labor laws are observed. They have that inspectorate unit in the Federal Ministry of Labor. This job cannot be given to an agency. In fact, the job is already vested in the Ministry of Labor. The Senate cannot enact a law that will contradict what is already in existence, but in a manner that will create multiple sectors of fraud, abuse of Nigerian workers.
So are you suggesting that this bill may end up empowering certain individuals to pay some Nigerians below the minimum wage?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is already happening. It is already happening, and it's something we can verify. I can take my brother, we visit 1 or 2 or 3 places, you will see, for example, a man dressed as a security staff. What is your salary? 40,000. And you are working in the federal government? No, I'm employed by a private security outfit. So when you send it to domestic sectors, you are going to now complicate it. Yeah. In any event, the National Directorate of Employment is not to employ people on behalf of employers. No, that is not their brief. They are to invest in training, retraining, and ensuring that they are meant to be a stopgap to deal with the number of people who are unemployed, to keep them busy, give them skills, and prayerfully they become self-employed thereafter. Private employers is a very, very dangerous thing to introduce into our labor practices. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, let me I'm trying to suggest that we can allow the bill to go for a second reading, and then all the issues canvassed will be canvassed at a public hearing, including the one that Senator Plank raised. So at that stage, the previous bill could be consolidated with this one, and then we try to regulate and make law that will save the general interest of the people, because some of those things are likely to be canvassed at the public hearing. What is your information, sir?
Just said what I wanted to suggest. It would be right for this bill to go to the committee. He can get his argument in the committee, and the committee will sit down where you have the lawyers, you have the accountants, you have everybody, the experts. They will be there. And later on, we go to public hearing. Agencies are in Dubai, they're in London, they're in my village. If our people are opening agencies everywhere, we cannot shy away from speaking the truth. If labor laws say this way, there is some centuries ago, we can start looking at modern way of doing things. That is why President Tinubu is rebuilding the economy, to make sure that we bring a modern way of doing things, not the old way. We must move forward. Otherwise, we will not remove subsidy. Otherwise, we will not remove and ask the interest rate and exchange rate to be the same. We must move forward. We are not going back. We have to move forward. Thank you, Mr. President.
And forward we shall. Distinguished Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari.
Thank you, Mr. President. Buhari Abdul Fattah, or you're not. Mr. President, simply what the bill is seeking for is a private sector to regularize the employment and encourage and assist the federal government in employing more people in the labor market. That is the simple thing. If there is no bill that will be debated in this or that have no pro and the cons, if there's any green area, you go to the public hearing where the experts will come in, come with their idea, come with their opinion, and we x-ray it to get the truth and what is better for this country. The best practice all over the world are that agencies employ the excess labor in the market, the excess labor, and it helps. It really helps and reduce the unemployment rate in the country. Thank you, Mr. President. And for somebody there to kill the bill.
Yes, this Senator is also.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. My name is Osita Naso. I represent Imo West. Mr. President, I think when you spoke, I thought we were going to end the debate on this bill because the bill is self-explanatory. It is something that we have to look at the pro and the cons. I happen to be a member of the Committee on Labor and Productivity. I'm aware that we have debated a similar bill in our committee, brought by Senator Babangida. But that bill was talking about house help, working in people's house, being regulated. Then at the end of the day, we'll marry everything together. So I believe that this bill should be sent to the committee for proper assessment. And even if it means to consolidate, we'll consolidate. Even if it means to amend the ND Act, we recommend for such amendment. So I think, Mr. President, you have ruled on this matter. May we just direct that this bill be passed for second reading. Thank you, Mr. President.
So I put the question.
Yes.
Those in support that this bill be read a second time, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. They are not here. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to regulate and formalize the employment of domestic workers, apprenticeship, interns, and other informal sector employees to empower the National Directorate of Employment to issue license and monitor privately owned employment agencies in Nigeria and for other related matters. 2025, second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to regulate and formalize the employment of domestic workers, apprenticeships, interns, and other informal sector employees, and to empower the National Directorate of Employment to issue license and monitor privately owned employment agencies in Nigeria and for other related matters. 2025, SB 629. Second reading taken and now committed to the Committee on Employment, Labor and Productivity to revert to the Senate in 6 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the second order of the day is second reading of Federal University of Earth Sciences, Funtua, Katsina State, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 690. The distinguished senator will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 6 February 2025, Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Mohammed Dandruze Mutari to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Distinguished Senator Dandruze.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I remain Dandruze Mutari Mohammed, representing Katsina South. Mr. President, it is my singular honor and privilege to respectfully lead the debate on the general principles of the Federal University of Medical and Health Science Funtua, Katsina State Establishment Bill 2025 SB 690. The bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Thursday, 6 February 2025. The bill seeks to, among other things, establish the Federal University of Medical and Health Science as a hub for inclusive learning with particular focus on medical and health science. The university, when established, is to be located in Funtua, Katsina State. The choice of Funtua as the proposed site of the university is deliberate, and it is central and more accessible to neighboring states like Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, Kano, and Jigawa, thereby creating easy access for acquisition of knowledge by Nigerians. And it is a cosmopolitan town in the whole country where no tribe you will not meet in Funtua. It is instructive to also note that among the 3 senatorial districts in Katsina State, the Funtua senatorial zone is yet to have a tertiary institution established in it, and it has more than 4 million people. And as the other 2 zones are host to numerous tertiary institutions such as Federal University Dusama, Federal College of Education Katsina, Hassan Usman Polytechnic Katsina, Federal University of Transport Technology Daura, Federal Polytechnic Daura, and College of Legal and General Studies Daura. As such, the choice of Funtua as the proposed site of the university is not only because it is unique geographically location, but correct the imbalance caused by the lopsidedness of the aforementioned tertiary institutions in the other 2 senatorial districts. Therefore, the establishment of this specialized university will provide opportunity for Nigerians in the northwest geopolitical zones and other parts of the country to acquire the requisite knowledge and skill in medical field and other related health science programs. You will agree with me, distinguished colleagues, that in today's world, the conventional or mainstream medical practice is gradually being phased out with the advancement in science and technology, while the advent of artificial intelligence, AI, and the use of robotics are predominantly being deployed to handle sophisticated medical procedures, thus limiting the chances of medical practitioners. This no doubt will invariably give rise to joblessness in the near future. Accordingly, it is imperative that urgent and necessary steps are taken for Nigeria to align with this current global paradigm shift in medical practice and health science to ensure that Nigeria is not left out of this global consciousness that seeks to develop and implement action plan to overcome identified challenges and improve medical practice through robust research and innovation. Mr. President, my respected colleagues, I want to sincerely appreciate the effort of Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who graciously give Funtua Zone this very important university because it's part of the 6 medical and health science that was approved and were located only to Katsina. And I want to also sincerely appreciate the effort given by the state governor who already provide 3 billion to the establishment of the school. And Mr. President, I want to sincerely appreciate the uncommon transformation of your leadership for graciously approve the budget of 2024 and 2025 for this very important university. Mr. President and my respected colleagues, supporting of passage of this bill in view of the legislative intent and purpose will align with the policy of the current administration on education and in conformity with global dynamic in medical and health science program. Thank you, Mr. President, and my respected colleagues.
Senator Onau.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Ogoshi Onau. I represent Nasarawa South. I stand to support the reading of this bill, that the second reading of this bill be taken. I so support.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, is anybody opposed to this bill? Okay, so I put the question. Those in support that this bill be now read. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Health Sciences, Funtua, Katsina State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for other related matters. 2025, SB 690, second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Federal University Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to regulate, a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Health Sciences, Funtua, Katsina State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for other related matters, 2025, SB 690. Second reading taken and committed to the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TEP Fund to revert to the Senate in 4 weeks. Thank you, distinguished Senator Dandose. Your points were very well noted. And I'm also happy with the fact that financial provisions have already been made available for the institution, even from your state government. The state governor is already alive to his responsibilities. It means they won't have issues of facilities and all that. Medical sciences, medical studies can be very costly, and medical equipment can be costly, but of course, judging from the preparation, we look forward to the outcome of the trainings of these children. And we pray that they will come out to assist Nigeria and Nigerians and the global community. Congratulations to Fontua. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the third order of the day is the second reading of Federal University of Education, Gumel, Jigawa State, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 239. Distinguished Senator will recall that the bill was read the first time in this chamber on Monday, 6 November 2023. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Hussaini Babangida Uba to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Distinguished Senator Hussaini Babangida.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I'm Senator Babangida Hussaini, representing Jigawa Northwest. And it is my honor and privilege to present this very important bill which seeks to establish a Federal University of Education in Gumel, Jigawa State. Mr. President and my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on this very important bill which seeks to upgrade Jigawa State College of Education, Gumel, to the Federal University of Education, Gumel, Jigawa State. The bill was read the first time in this hallowed chamber on Monday, 6 November 2023. The development of a sound and robust educational system in any country is therefore predicated on the availability of qualified and well-trained teachers to impart the required knowledge on the students. Thus, the need to have a strong system in the educational sector that shall continuously produce well-qualified and well-trained teachers, as is obtainable in other countries, cannot be overemphasized. This is the fundamental justification for the establishment of this specialized institution of higher learning, the Federal University of Education, Gumel, Jigawa State. Undoubtedly, the realization that universities of education are tools for national development have led to an unbridled quest for and vigorous expansion of such institutions in Nigeria. Permit me to mention that the training and production of qualified teachers is a sine qua non for the continuation of universities and technologies that this very forward-looking 10th Assembly has worked assiduously for. The objectives of the university shall be, 1, to encourage the advancement of learning and to hold out to all persons without distinction of race, creed, sex, or political conviction. 2, to develop and offer academic and professional programs leading to the award of certificates, first degrees, postgraduate research, diploma and higher degrees with emphasis on planning, developmental and adaptive skills in education, technology, applied science, agriculture, commerce, arts, social science, humanities, management and allied professional disciplines. Mr. President, it is also meant to produce socially mature educational men and women with capabilities not only to understand educational need of Nigeria as a nation, but also to exploit existing educational infrastructure and improve on it, and to develop new ones. Mr. President, also, distinguished colleagues, it is to act as agents and catalysts for effective educational system through postgraduate training, research and innovation for effective economic utilization and conservation of the country's human resources. It is also meant to collaborate with other national and international institutions involved in training, research and development of education with a view to promoting governance, leadership and management skills among educational managers. Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, the enactment of this bill will go a long way in transforming the decayed educational infrastructure in Nigeria and change the educational fortunes of the country for the better. It will also provide a balanced educational development of Jigawa State. This bill has no financial implication on the federal government, as the university will be acquiring the existing structures of the Jigawa State College of Education, Gumel. It may interest my distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, to also know that that the Jigawa State government has already accepted to hand over the College of Education, Gumel, for the purpose of the takeoff of this university. Therefore, in conclusion, it is my prayer and ardent call that you consider the plight of the people who are desirous of becoming professional teachers and support the expeditious passage of this bill. Thank you, sirs.
Distinguished Senator Mbigi.
Thank you, the President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues. Mpigi Barunada, I represent the good people of Rivers Southeast Senatorial District. Mr. President, I'm from Rivers State. Mr. President, I stand here to lay my voice and to second for the second reading of this all-important bill for the establishment of the Federal University of Education, Gume, Jigawa State. Mr. President, in supporting for its reading, for second reading, I want to say that this university, if it says through the second reading and eventually passed, Mr. President, is going to help firstly in coping the areas of employment for our youth, and is also going to help in the area of training. Since it is an establishment bill, Mr. President, I want to also urge my colleagues here that we don't need to delay, because this bill is apt and is something that is straightforward. So, Mr. President, I so second that this bill be read for the second time. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for simplifying my job. Is there anybody opposed to this bill being read a second time? Those in support that this bill be read a second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Education, Gumel, Jigawa State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for related matters, 2025, second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Education, Gumel, Jigawa State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for other related matters, 2025. Second reading taken and committed to the Committee on Tertiary Institutions, St. Tedford, to revert to the Senate in 4 weeks. Let me thank distinguished Senator Babangida Hussein for bringing this bill, and also thank my colleagues for their contributions, and pray that when this university is established by Act of Parliament, that it will help to widen the scope of education, open the doors to our children to obtain tertiary education, and at the same time close the doors to banditry and insurgency in that region. I thank all of you, and I pray that you do a speedy job in the committee and revert to the Senate as soon as possible for us to transmit. Congratulations in advance. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the fourth order of the day is presentation and consideration of report of Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary on Federal Medical Centers, Act 2022, Amendment Bill 2025. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Sumaila, the Vice Chairman, to act on behalf of Senator Banego Ari, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for presentation and consideration of the report.
The minority leader. Leader of the Senate, who is taking the report? Okay, Dr. Kaila. Dr. Smaila Kaila, go ahead to take the report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Dr. Samaila Kaila, representing Bauchi North, and I am the Deputy Chairman of the Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary, and I am sitting for my chairman, Senator Hari Banigo. Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I would like to lay the report, which is a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Center Act 2022 to provide for the establishment of the additional federal medical centers and for related matters 2025 consolidated. With your permission, I would like to lay the report. Mr. President, with your permission, I would like to lay the report.
You may proceed to lay the report.
Table discussion.
Doc, you may summarize the report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the report is a consolidated report on bills sponsored by various senators seeking to amend the Federal Medical Center Act 2022 by providing for the establishment of additional federal medical centers to supplement existing FMCs across the country. Mr. President,
it's very short.
Mr. President, with your permission, I would like to read the 27.
The recommendations.
Yeah, I want to read the 39 FMCs.
No, no, the recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah,
The recommendation of the committee, after clause by clause consideration of the bill, the committee recommends that the amended bill be provided as recommended. Conclusion, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the committee greatly appreciates the President of the Senate, the Deputy President of the Senate, the entire Senate leadership, and all the distinguished colleagues for the opportunity given to us to serve in this capacity. The reason why I want to read all the centers, because these are 39 federal medical centers that we are seeking to establish. When we came in today, I noticed some of them, we put them correctly, but the location was slightly different. And I don't want us to admit or to approve something that is not supposed to be in a particular location, and we approve it on a particular location.
Okay, so it means you didn't do a thorough job.
No, we did.
Committee. All those typographical errors have been corrected.
The first one is Federal Medical Center, Akwa Ibom, Ukana. Sponsor.
It's been corrected.
Gospel Akpabio. Federal Medical Center, Impact Enin. Impact Enin. See.
After reading a Ibom, do you need to read another one? but no, go ahead. I know all have been corrected, but go ahead. Since you've read a Ibom, read up to Casina, read Bauchi.
Federal Medical Center, initially we put Ekija, but we realized it is Onisha, Omeri. Federal Medical Center, Toru, Orwa, Bayelsa. Federal Medical Center, Adikpo, Benue. Federal Medical Center, Ngala, in Borno. Federal Medical Center, Udakpani, Cross River. Federal Medical Center, Ugep, Cross River. Federal Medical Center, Ogoja, Cross River. Federal Medical Center, Ole, Delta State. Federal Medical Center, Onueke, Ibonyi. Federal Medical Center, Iamo, Edo. Federal Medical Center, Edo. Federal Medical Center, Udi, Enugu State. Federal Medical Center, Deba, Gombe State. Federal Medical Center, Hadija, in Jigawa State. Federal Medical Center, Kapanchan, Kaduna State. Federal Medical Center, Saminaka, in Kaduna State. Federal Medical Center, Gwalozo, in Kano State. Federal Medical Center, Musawa, in Katsina State. Federal Medical Center, Zuru, in Kebbi State. Federal Medical Center, Ihima, in Kogi. Federal Medical Center, Ofa, in Kwara State. Federal Medical Center, Kontagura, in Niger State. Federal Medical Center, Shiroro, in Niger State. Federal Medical Center, Ijebu Ode, in Ogun State. Federal Medical Center, Ibotako, in Ondo State. Federal Medical Center, Ikire, in Osun State. Federal Medical Center, Igbura, in Oyo State. Federal Medical Center, Igboho, in Oyo State. Federal Medical Center, Kanke, in Plateau State. Federal Medical Center, Boni, in River State. Federal Medical Center, Ozuzu, in River State. Federal Medical Center, Bori, in River State. Federal Medical Center, Tambuwal, in Sokoto State. Federal Medical Center, Gembu, in Taraba State. Federal Medical Center, Yobe, Potiskum, in Yobe State. And Federal Medical Center, Gusau, in Zamfara State. Federal Medical Center, Ningi, in Bauchi State. It is the third one.
Have you finished all?
Yes.
You read the one of Ningi?
Yes.
In Bauchi?
Yes.
No, I said, did you get to Bauchi soon?
Yes, I did, sir.
Senator Nengi, okay, if you have finished out, that's fine.
Thank you, sir.
Any further information? Yes, Senator Yao. Please, off your mic.
That is why I said let me read them, because actually I'm not one of them.
Thank you, Mr. President.
We have noted your correction already.
Correction, sir.
Yes, we have noted it.
The correction is, it has been corrected.
Kala Namodu.
Sir, yes, sir.
Raise it.
It should be Federal Medical Center, Kauran Namoda, not to Gusau.
Okay, Kala
Yes.
Namoda.
Kauran Namoda, not
Noted,
to Gusau.
noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Information? Which order?
You emitted Abia. Don't put me to.
You are taking the privilege of being an ancestor of the Senate.
No, I'm taking the privilege of being a friend of Senate President.
Let's carry on.
So my order is just very simple to
Your
put
order
back.
is upheld.
Oh, thank you.
Leader of the Senate. Senator Asukwa, approach the chair.
Mr. President,
Yes, Leader of the
very
Senate.
distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate resolve to a committee of the whole for further consideration of this report. I so move.
Yes, Minority Leader. Minority Leader. Minority Leader. You may wish to second the motion that we resolve it to a committee of the whole to consider the report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the Senate resolves into a committee of the whole to consider the report. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we do resolve in the committee of the whole to consider this report. Those in support say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Okay.
Senator Joel, resume your seat.
An act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act 2022 to provide for the establishment of additional Federal Medical Centers 2025, consolidated. Federal Medical Centers Act 2022 Amendment Bill 2025. Long title, those in support that the long title form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Number of clauses 1 to 3. Those in support the clauses 1 to 3 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Short title on page 4. Those in support that the short title form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum on page 4. Those in support that this form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, sitting as chairman, very distinguished colleagues, I stand to move that the Senate now reverse to plenary to enable the chairman report progress. I so move.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary to enable the chair report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion will be moved and seconded that we do revert to committee to plenary to enable the chair report progress. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We revert to the plenary.
Senator Wadada, approach the chief whip.
Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary on the Federal Medical Centers Act 2022 Amendment Bill 2025 and approve as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses 1 to 2 as recommended. Short title of clause 3 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Is this what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate, you may wish to call for the third reading of this bill.
Thank you, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues. I rise to move that the bill be now read for the third time. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, Distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the bill be read a third time. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in support that this bill be now read a third time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate, yes.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act 2022 and for other matters connected there with 2025, third reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act 2022 and for other matters connected therewith 2025. Third reading taken. No. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act 2022 to provide for the establishment of the additional Federal Medical Centers 2025 consolidated Federal Medical Center Okana Akwa Ibom State 2025, Federal Medical Center Mkparenin Akwa Ibom State, Federal Medical Center Onitsha Umweri Annex Anambra State, Federal Medical Center Ningi in Bauchi State, Federal Medical Center Toro Urwa in Bayelsa State, Federal Medical Center Adipo in Benue State, Federal Medical Center Ngala in Borno State, Federal Medical Center Odokpani in Cross River State, Federal Medical Center Ogeb in Cross River State, Federal Medical Center Ogoja in Cross River State, Federal Medical Center Ole in Delta State, Federal Medical Center Onweke in Ebonyi State, Federal Medical Center Iyamo in Edo State, Federal Medical Center Igor in Edo State, Federal Medical Center Udi in Enugu State, Federal Medical Center Deba in Gombe State, Federal Medical Center Hadija in Jigawa State, Federal Medical Center Kavanchan in Kaduna State, Federal Medical Center Saminaka in Kaduna State, Federal Medical Center Guazo in Kano State, Federal Medical Center Mozawa in Katsina State, Federal Medical Center Zuru in Kebbi State, Federal Medical Center Ihima in Kogi State, Federal Medical Center Ofa in Kwara State, Federal Medical Center Gontagora in Niger State, Federal Medical Center Shiroro in Niger State, Federal Medical Center Ijebu Ode in Ogun State, Federal Medical Center Ibotako in Ondo State, Federal Medical Center Ikire in Osun State, Federal Medical Center Ibuara in Oyo State, Federal Medical Center Iboho in Oyo State, Federal Medical Center Kanke in Plateau State, Federal Medical Center Boni in Rivers State, Federal Medical Center Ozuzu in Rivers State, Federal Medical Center Bori in Rivers State, Federal Medical Center Tambuwa in Sokoto State, Federal Medical Center Gembu in Taraba State, Federal Medical Center Potiskum in Yobe State, Federal Medical Center Gozo in Zamfara State, and related matters dealt with. Third reading taken and passed. Let me thank the Senate Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary for this wonderful report, and thank all our distinguished colleagues for their contributions. And I do hope that they establish federal medical centers when assented into Act of Parliament will help to bring healthcare delivery closer to the doorsteps of all Nigerians. I congratulate the various communities for this establishment, and I look forward to an improved medical health for all Nigerians in line with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is very interested and concerned with the well-being and the overall health of all Nigerians. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fifth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund on the Federal University of Education Technical Gombe Establishment Bill 2025 SB 221. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 23rd October 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Mohammed Danduse Muntari, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Danduse.
Thank you, Mr. President. My respected colleagues, I remain Danduse Muntari Mohammed, representing Katsina South, that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund on the Federal University of Education Technical Gombe Establishment Bill 2025 SB 221. I so move, Mr.
Distinguished Senator Asuku Ekpeyon.
Your Excellency, my name is Senator Asuko Ekpeyon, representing Cross River South. I rise to second the motion, please.
Distinguished colleagues,
Moved by Dan Duse.
Distinguished colleagues, distinguished senator, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support that the report be late, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Dandu says you may proceed to lay your report. Just a summary, that's all.
Thank you, Mr. President. My respected colleagues, the objective of the bill is to develop and offer academic and professional programs leading to the award of certificate, first degree, postgraduate research diploma, and higher degree, with emphasis on technical education and applied professional discipline. Mr. President, the highlight of the proceeding at the public hearing, from the views expressed by the stakeholders at the public hearing and subsequent analysis of the oral and written presentation of memorandum, the committee hereby makes the following observation. The establishment of the university will certainly go a long way in the enhancement of education infrastructural need, while balancing access to education among diverse demographic in the country by providing people who can apply technological skill to the improvement of education. The knowledge and skills that will be acquired by the graduate from the envisaged act of the National Assembly will definitely go a long way in expanding and deepening the horizon of the graduate in education. Mr. President, the recommendations that the Senate do on tertiary institutions to which the bill was referred have carefully considered same. Hereby recommend as follows that the Senate do consider and pass the bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Education, Technical, Gombe, and for related matter, establishment Bill 2025 SB 221. In conclusion, I wish to use this opportunity to thank the President of the Senate and distinguished colleagues for the opportunity to serve in this capacity and to humbly request the Senate to pass this bill. I so move, Mr. President.
Leader of the Senate, you may wish to move a motion for us to resolve into a committee of the whole.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate do now resolve to a committee of the whole for further consideration of this report. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion that the Senate resolves into the committee of the whole to consider the report. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those in support that will resolve the committee of the whole say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Senator Kingibe, Senator Ekpeong, please resume your seats. We have
Yes, if it is a distinguished colleagues, consideration of the clause by clause on a bill for now to establish the Federal University of Education Technical Gombe State and make comprehensive provisions for its due management, administration and related matters 2025. Long title, page 1. Those in support that the long title on page 1 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. A latter one. Clauses 2 to 10. Those in support that clauses 2 to 10 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 11 to 20. Those in support that clause 11 to 20 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 21 to clause 30. Those in support that clauses 21 to 30 form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The short title, clause 31. Those in support this form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Schedules 1 to 3 on pages 22 and 26. Those in support that this form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum on page 33. Those in support that this form part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I'm rising to move that the Senate reverts to plenary to enable the chairman report progress, and I'm also moving that by virtue of Order 8.3, time be extended.
To report progress. Just report the progress, that's all.
Okay, we need
just
to
move a motion for us to report progress.
Yes, I did. Extension of time.
But no, yes. All right, that's true.
Yes, that pursuant to Order 8(3) of our rules, time also be extended to enable us to see beyond 3 p.m.
The right leader.
Thank you.
So, yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverts to plenary to enable chair to report progress, and also by our relevant regulations to second the motion that we extend time to enable the Senate to complete its business of the day. I so second.
Dual motions moved and seconded. First, that we extend the time to enable us to sit beyond 3 p.m. And secondly, that we revert to plenary to report progress. Those in support of the two motions say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TEDFON on the Federal University of Education Technical Gombe State Establishment Bill 2025 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses 1 to 29 as recommended. Interpretation clause page 30 on interpretation clause 30 actually as recommended. Short title on clause 31 as recommended. Schedules 1 to 3 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum on page 33 as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the committee of the whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the bill be now read for the third time. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this bill be now read a third time. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal University of Education Technical, Gombe, and for other matters connected therewith, 2025, third reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Education Technical, Gombe, and for other matters connected therewith, 2025, third reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Education Technical, Gombe State, and for other matters connected therewith, third reading taken and passed. Let me thank the Committee on Tertiary Education, Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TEFRON on this, on the work done on this Federal University Technical Gombe State Establishment Bill, and pray that when this is assented into an act of Parliament by Mr. President, that we will once again widen the door of education, thereby narrowing the door of hostility, instability, and insecurity. I congratulate the good people of Gombe State on this upcoming university and pray that every child that passes through it will be a citizen of this country, and insecurity in our nation will reduce because of Mr. President's commitment to education. I congratulate my colleagues also for taking education seriously in these chambers. Congratulations to all. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the sixth and very last order of the day is a motion standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Annie Anthony Okorie on the urgent need to investigate with an intention to halt the continuous unwholesome practices of chemical ripening of fruits among fruit sellers in Nigeria. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Annie Anthony Okorie to move the motion.
Distinguished Senator Professor Anthony Annie Okorie.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. It's my pleasure to present this motion, a very important motion that touches on the lives of every citizen of this country. The motion is on urgent need to investigate with an intention to halt the continuous unwholesome practices of chemical ripening of fruits among fruit sellers in Nigeria. The Senate, aware that ripening of fruits is a natural physiological process and makes fruits sweeter, more palatable, edible, nutritious, softer, and attractive. Fruit ripening is a highly regulated, irreversible process that involves highly coordinated, complex biochemical and physiological changes. Also aware that the artificial ripening of fruits involves the external application of chemicals and other agents to achieve faster and more uniform ripening of fruits. Informed that among the widely used artificial ripening agents are ethylene and methyl jasmonate, which have been reported to be non-toxic for human consumption. However, they are relatively expensive. In many developing countries, low-cost chemicals such as calcium carbide, ethylene glycol, and ethyphone are reported to be commonly used to artificially trigger the ripening processes of fruits. Also informed that the cosmetic quality of artificially ripened fruits will increase, but organic qualities, meaning the taste, the color, and smell, nutrition value, and shelf life are depreciated when fruits are subjected to treatment without considering maturity status. Worried that nutrition experts and regulatory agencies such as NAFDAC, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, have warned against fruit ripening with calcium carbide, describing it as a harmful practice that endangers human lives. Also worried that calcium carbide contains impurities such as arsenic, lead particles, phosphorus, etc., that cause several health hazards such as cancer, heart, kidney, liver failures, neurological disorders, intestinal problems, skin damage, mouth ulcers, and so on, saddened that the practice of ripening fruits with dangerous chemicals are being on the increase among fruit sellers in Nigeria. Also saddened that many of these fruit sellers are ignorant of the health hazards posed by consumption of artificially ripened fruits, but driven by the incremental profit that made it much profit, as most customers prefer to patronize the artificially ripened fruits due to its enhanced cosmetic appearance, not knowing that they are buying poison. And also note that the use of some of these chemicals have been banned in many countries of the world, but they are still being used indiscriminately in Nigeria. Accordingly, results to: number one, all NAFDAC, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to investigate the practice of chemical ripening of fruits in Nigeria. Number two, also urge NAFDAC, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, as well as the FCCPC, to increase the level of awareness by continuous sensitization and public enlightenment on the hazardous implications of chemical ripening of fruits. Further urge NAFDAC and Nigerian Customs Service to ensure that imported fruits, especially apples, are not preserved with harmful chemicals. And finally, equally urge NAFDAC and FCCPC to commence regular visits to fruit markets to check the practice of chemical ripening of fruits. I so move. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, distinguished Senator Amos Johanna.
Thank you.
You can make contribution. You can make contribution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am
You can
Amos
make
Johanna Adamawa North.
Yes.
I rise to second this motion, very, very important motion that has to do with the health of Nigerians. I so second.
Distinguished Senator, this time not Abdul Fatai, but distinguished Senator Omar. You may wish to add one or two things to this motion. And then distinguished Senator, who is a doctor amongst all of us here? Rosho, where did you become a doctor? Okay, through your kids. That's right. Okay, so let him finish.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I am Sadiq Sulaiman Umar. I represent the good and decent people of Kwara North. Mr. President, this problem is a very serious problem in this country, and we don't seem to see the immediate effect because some of these impurities, especially arsenic, lead, work slowly in the human body. And at a point, you see liver problems, kidney problems, gastrointestinal problems, that you might not be able to necessarily trace it to these impurities. But if you look at the overall health implication, this is destroying our society. You go to hospitals today and you look at the data, you see people coming down daily with ailments. And therefore, Mr. President, I think we should take this very seriously and urge all the agencies, as it has been stated, to halt this thing as soon as is possible, because we are losing too many lives in this country. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you for brevity. I hope that Senator Izunaso will do the same.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Osita Izunaso. I represent Imo West. I'm going to be as brief as the last speaker. Mr. President, let me commend Professor Tony Ani for bringing this motion. This motion might just look as if it's an ordinary motion, but it is extremely sensitive, Mr. President. Nigerians are not aware of what we consume. Every day, go to the farmer's market, you will see people buying fruits that you don't even know where these fruits are coming from. Buy fruits, you don't know which farm is producing the fruit and how is it being produced. And these are all the cases of GMO, genetically modified organism. In one way or the other, we are eating what we do not know about. Mr. President, I don't even think we are going to waste much time on this motion, but than to refer to the relevant agencies. I've looked at the prayers. When we come for the amendment of the prayers, I think it's only one prayer that will sustain here, because there is need for proper sensitization. There's need for Nigerians to know. This information is not in the public domain. People are just consuming what they don't even know about. And it's not only the poor people to say, but even the rich people. You will ask your cook to go and buy things for you. You are not following him to the market to buy those things. And you don't even know where those things are produced. And particularly the imported items into the country. So I think we have to look at it very seriously, Mr. President. I want to commend him once more for bringing this motion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Oshomole.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My name is Adam Saliu Eric Oshomole, representing Edo North. I want to lend my voice in commending Professor Ani, who has raised this very, very important motion. As a matter of fact, all of us, senators here, we are all victims of these malpractices. But, like Senator Zenaso said, whether we know it or not, when you ask people to go and buy you fruit, you don't know where they buy it from. And it is now common, whether you want to buy banana, you want to buy orange, you want to buy any of the fruits, you find that they use these chemicals to fasten the wrapping and all that and all that. So what ordinarily should be a source of nutrition become an hazard that you consume. And as people have observed in our hospitals, you find all kinds of new forms of ailments everywhere. I do not think people are acting out of ignorance. I think it is this craze to make money anyhow, anywhere, My shock, Mr. President, is that we have a whole outfit called NAFDAC. If we as senators here, whose responsibility is to make law, are aware of this very dangerous malpractice, how can it be assumed that NAFDAC does not know? Therefore, when we come to the prayers, I will suggest that we do not only urge NAFDAC, but that we condemn their indifference, their negligence of duty in allowing these poisonous items to be hawked around all over the country. I want to thank you again, Ani, for this very well informed. You stated all the details, and I think today you have shown to us that when you have professor as a senator, you can have a rare combination. Mr. President, I support this motion, and I urge us to be hard on NAFDAC to live up to their responsibility and justify the taxpayers' money that is used to maintain them. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Dike Plank.
Thank you so much, Mr. President of the Senate, Chairman of the National Assembly, distinguished colleagues. I rise to lean my voice very strongly on this motion. Inorganic action on our fruits goes a long way to affect our health. I would like us not to even remain on the issue of chemical ripening of fruits, but also the chemical preservation of the fruit, and then the chemical application of chemicals in terms of drugs, even to fish and other foods we eat. I feel that there is a strong need for us to stress on the regulation, supervision of food, whether meat or fruits. It is unfortunate that the chemicals we take from food ends up diffusing in us and leading to cancer. I would like to stress that this motion with the prayers should be totally looked into and also be extended to NAFDAC in particular, to be concerned about the processes used in the conservation or protection of food, vis-a-vis rice, what chemicals are used for the preservation of life to last longer. Any shortcut, even spiritually, is wrong. There is no shortcut to heaven, and there is no shortcut to maturity. Anybody who takes shortcut, there is no shortcut in exams, and therefore any shortcut for ripening is dangerous on us. It's a very serious issue. Thank you so much.
Yes, distinguished Senate President, Deputy Senate President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I feel that I must request your permission so as to contribute to this, to make my contribution in respect of this motion. Mr. President, this is a worrisome trend in this country, very, very worrisome. And it's really frightening. And it affects all of us. Don't be surprised that the banana you took yesterday, or the pineapple that you squeezed yesterday or you ate, or even a pawpaw, and the one you're going to take this afternoon has been contaminated by this chemical. Because the sellers are in the habit of putting chemical on these fruits that I mentioned, so that they can get them more ripe or look more beautiful in the eyes of buyers. And this is what is going on all over Nigeria, especially in Abuja and elsewhere in Lagos. It's a terrible situation. And that's why you have all manner of people having cancers and what have you, ailments that you don't even know where they are coming from. It's a terrible situation. It's a very, very bad situation, and we need to up our game in order to deal with this trend. Because we cannot fold our arms. Few individual unpatriotic individual killing our people, creating something that you cannot even describe, something inhuman, and nobody is doing anything about it. NAFDAC, yes, NAFDAC is trying, but I don't think they have created any means of dealing with these people. These people, that are creating health havoc around the country. We must up our game. We should find a system where there will be random checks. The sellers will be called, or there will be, these items will be checked and find out those who are involved in this kind of practice in a random manner. Once this is done, they will now feel that it's no longer safe for them to do so, that they will be arrested and prosecuted. Otherwise, this kind of trend will destroy the health of our people. We must do something about it. It looks so, people might not take it seriously, but it's something that has serious effects on our lives. This is what's going on now. You see a very ripe banana, not knowing that it is chemical that made it to be so. Sometimes they put them in drainages. In gutter, put them inside there, and then later in the morning they pick them up and wash them and sell to the public. So, Mr. President, we shouldn't joke with this matter. We should go to the root of it, get those involved. NAFDAC, they should be told that this is what is happening, and they should bring out a means of, something that can be done, a system that will fish out these people and deal with them, so that others will not go the same way. Mr. President, please, I urge everybody, let's look at this matter, give it the attention it deserves. I say so, Mr. President.
Is there anybody opposed to this motion? Senator Idiot, so that women will not be marginalized.
Thank you, Excellency, for your kind consideration. Well, let me commend Senator Ani for this. As a senator, we hold our constituents the responsibility to speak about issues like this. It's not only on those concrete issues, but these supposedly abstract issues are issues that has to do with our lives. So, I will say, and I will urge us to let us start the advocacy from here. Let us start the advocacy from here now. All that we have said is about advocacy. And let this tape be played to Nigerians that at the Senate, we are particularly concerned about those foods that they consume out there, those foods that are not good for their health, those foods that can damage their internal organs. Like the kidney, you can see if you go to the hospital, particularly tertiary hospitals, you will see young children, young girls of 16, 18 coming down with kidney issues. Then you wonder, is it that the person has consumed so much alcohol that has damaged the person's kidney, or what could be leading to it? Distinguished ladies, distinguished senators, these are part of the things that are destroying our children. These are part of the things that are giving parents creating unnecessary ways of spending money. So, I urge all of us to support this bill and give it this motion in the sense that it is something that all of us are very particular about, and together we say no to this way of treating or dealing with our fruits or preserving our fruits. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I so submit.
Senator Ekong Samson.
Well, I thank Mr. President for this privilege. My name is Ekong Samson. I speak for Akwa Ibom South. This is the type of motion that readily commands the attention of the 10th Senate because it's a lifesaver. A case has been well made, and I share that opinion that we must step up the level of advocacy. It's all about getting the people aware of what they are taking in, and then tasking the agencies to increase their surveillance. These are killers. What we consume sometimes are killers. They offer no respite, and they increase the number of patients in our clinics and health centers. So this type of bill is quite commendable. It raises a number of issues about our healthcare and then challenges us to be aware of what we take in. It also gives an assignment to NAFDAC and other bodies to step up their surveillance. And inappropriate measures, inappropriate cases, sanctions must be meted out to some people who, instead of protecting us, are sending a number of people to their graves, to their early graves, to their untimely graves, death as it were. So I think this is the type of motion that creates a challenge on all of us, and I share a strong passion. I align with the type of opinion that the motion should be commended, should be supported. We must create the type of environment where our healthcare system is safeguarded. We must drive the type of advocacy that we need to drive so that people are aware of what they are consumed. There's a real interest in taking in fruits, but what type of fruits are we taking in? Are we consuming the type of fruits that are sending us to our early graves, or the type of fruits that enrich us as human beings? So I really commend our colleague for the thoughts that have been captured in this motion. I support it. Thank you.
Senator Pam.
Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me this opportunity to support my friend for bringing this motion so that we can be able to guide ourselves against certain excesses of human behaviors. Sir, I would like to say here that I'm one of the victims of such dirty acts of these vendors who sell fruits. There's a time I asked one of them that is it carbide that make it like this, and the seller told me yes. This, I'm happy that the mover has brought us to be aware of certain dirty acts of some people that make us uncomfortable in this our country. So it would be better for us, despite trying to tell NAFDAC and other agencies of government that are responsible for monitoring these activities, we should be conscious of the fact that before buying any of these things, we have to know where it came from. And if you look at the environment they sell these things, is so bad. And if the agencies too can monitor them and give them the advice they should sell these things at the right places and find out the modalities they use that in selling these things, I think it will save us. This, I would say, that is one of the best motion that has come to us as Nigerians, and this place I believe that will do the best to safeguard it. Thank you very much.
Yes, the same Senator. I'm looking at the Anthony Yarrow, right?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Senator Anthony Siako Yarrow, representing the excellent people of Gombe South from Gombe State. What I wanted to chip in, Mr. President, is while the debate was going on, I see very serious and more emphasis concentrated on NAFDAC. I think we should do some a little bit of research and expand the agencies that we will include into this, such as FGCCP and others, and other health agencies in particular in controlling communal health and the rest. There is no more good time to attend to this than now, particularly to we senators or legislators. As you enter this tea room, Mr. President, you will see all those things there. The moment Olamileko enters that tea room, you will touch banana. Then that banana, you have to look at it, and but there is a technical way of observing for banana, which I know naturally grown and ripe banana. You will see some dotted spots, black or pinkish like this on the back. Then you see smooth one, that one must be from carbide, Mr. President. The one that you see dotted, this is a naturally ripe phenomena. And so therefore, but this is nationwide, it's worldwide because we import a lot of apple, for example. Those apples also imported need to be checked and all that. So my point is that let's increase the number of agencies that will, keep responsibility on them to check this rather than NADAC alone. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, this is one motion that has been exhaustively debated to a point where I looked at the floor and nobody raised his hand. So I'm happy about it. But let me just draw your attention to the very seriousness, the serious issues raised in this motion. Also worried that calcium carbide contains impurities such as arsenic, am I right? Professor Ani? I'm right in the pronunciation? Arsenic, lead particles, phosphorus, etc., that cause several health hazards such as cancer, heart, kidney, and liver failures, neurological disorders, intestinal problems, skin damage, mouth ulcers. Saddened that the practice of ripening of fruits with dangerous chemicals have been on the increase among fruit sellers in Nigeria. I believe that looking at it, just that paragraph alone is a locus classicus. It is a very sad thing to happen to a country. People are dying, dropping dead. People are having kidney failures. People are having heart issues. And you don't know they are associated with just the banana, the pawpaw, and the pineapples and things that you buy, maybe by the roadside, or you send somebody to the market to go and buy for you. So it affects both the rich and the poor. It's a very serious issue. So I want to join you to commend Professor Ani for this particular motion. Like Senator Palm said, this is probably one of the very, very most important motions in this chamber, brought by Senator Ani Antonio Correa. The practices of chemical ripening of fruits among fruit sellers in Nigeria, and sometimes among fruit producers. In an attempt to make quick money, they will just use chemicals to ripen the fruits. If you are going towards Akwanka, you see some of the fruits are dumped inside gutter with water, but they pour chemicals into those things. So they put them in the morning while they are coming to sell. Before evening, the ones that they put chemicals on have ripened, and they bring them out and sell in the night. So when you are eating, you won't know what is happening. And somebody gets some and probably starts having kidney issues or heart failure and will not know where the problems are coming from. In some communities, people have tried to associate those emergency illnesses to COVID vaccines. But this may be the real cause. You know, witchcraft is normal. Witchcraft is, nobody dies naturally in Nigeria except through witchcraft. Even accidents are caused by witchcraft. So that is normal. Even these fruits, when you buy and it poisons your system, it is witchcraft. So that is a general name that we give to death in Nigeria. But this issue is very serious. I think we should go beyond just mere motion. We should look at the provisions in NAFDAC Act and see whether there is anything we can do to tinker to ensure that we bring stiff punishment to those who practice this. If we don't send people to jail, this practice will not stop. So let's also look at your prayers and see whether we can put a possible place there where we can amend any of the laws that regulate this sector in order to bring very steep penalties toward people who engage in this, because this is a major, major killer that can happen to even children who are most affected, because children love fruits. Maybe on their way to school, on their way to primary school, and back from primary school or secondary school, they will buy fruits. They will not know the ones that are chemically produced, chemically ripened, and all that. It's a very, very serious issue. Thank you for bringing this to the fore. And I thank my colleagues for their contributions. Prayer 1, urge NAFDAC, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to investigate the practice of chemical ripening of fruits in Nigeria. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, urge NAFDAC, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, FCCPC, to increase the level of awareness by continuous sensitization and public enlightenment on the hazardous implications of chemical ripening of fruits. I will only add National Orientation Agency. Can somebody move a motion to add National Orientation Agency as one of the agencies that should do the sensitization? Yes, Amos, Reverend.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Amos Johanna Adamo North. I wish to move that that prayer be amended to add that the NOA be added to the prayers for sensitization. Yes. I so move.
Distinguished Senator Sheriff Adin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to support the motion ably moved by my colleague, that in line with the mandate of the National Orientation Agency, that the motion should be, the prayer should be amended to include them by way of sensitization. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, the prayer 2 is amended to urge the NAFDAC, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, the Federal Consumer Competition and Consumer Practice Protection Commission, and the National Orientation Agency to increase the level of awareness by continuous sensitization and public enlightenment on the hazardous implications of chemical ripening of fruits in Nigeria. Those in support of prayer 2 as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, further urge NAFDAC and the Nigerian Customs Services to ensure that imported fruits, especially apples, are not preserved with harmful chemicals. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye.
Amendment.
Amendment, yes, Senator Mangunu.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohammed Tahir Moguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. The agency that is statutorily mandated to ensure the quality of agricultural products that are exported and imported is the Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service. So we should amend the prayer to say further urge NAFDAC, Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service, and Nigerian Consular Service to ensure that imported fruits, especially apples, are not preserved with harmful chemicals.
Yes, any seconder? Using Senator oh, sorry.
Okay.
Jibril.
Yes, sir. anyone, sir. Your Excellency, Mr. President.
It's a Jibril, not a Chacha.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, very distinguished colleagues, I am Issa Jibril, representing Kogi East. I rise to second the motion, the amendment ably moved by the Chief Whip of the Senate. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in support of prayer 3 as amended say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 4, equally urge NAFDAC and FCCPC to commence regular visits to fruit markets to check the practice of chemical ripening of fruits. Those in support of this last prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Like I said, I think we should also add another prayer to see whether we can amend any act of the parliament to put stiff punishment or stiffer punishment for anybody that is engaged in this practice. Because this is very deadly. Anybody can die unknowingly through this practice. And therefore, I think it shouldn't be something we just make a motion and go. So maybe we should have like a last prayer that yes, we should look at the extant regulations and inject a provision that will ensure the punishment of anybody caught in this act in order to save lives in future. Distinguished Senator Nweboyi, you may wish to craft it.
Thank you, Mr. President.
As additional prayer.
As additional prayer, I wish to suggest that we make a law.
We amend any of
we amend the existing law.
Of the existing law.
The extant laws regarding these provisions to make it an offense for fruit dealers, punishable by law for fruit dealers to embark on chemical fruit ripening as against natural ripening of fruits. I so move.
Yes. Yes, Eunice.
Mr. President, my name is Yunus Abiodun Akitunde. I rise to support the motion as amended by Senator Iwamboy. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, this last prayer is actually for our committee on legal matters to explore possibilities of injecting a provision that not only bans but ensures stiff punishment that criminalizes the practice of ripening fruits through dangerous chemicals. Those in support of the motion have moved and seconded that we should criminalize the practice of ripening fruits through dangerous chemicals in this country and ensure stiff punishment for those engaged in the practice. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. I believe this is something that must be done to serve as a deterrent and to bring the practice to an end. It's not just enough to make a motion, but it's important to take the right action and then also stiff punishment and let people be aware that yes, if you do this and you are caught, that there will be punishment for it. And that way we can save lives of people, save life of elders, save life of children, save life of women, save life of men, and even lives of politicians. So I want to thank you. Osho, any additional prayer?
Mr. President, sir, I wanted us to add that we don't just urge NAFDAC. If all of us and many people outside this room are aware of this widespread malpractice, it is shocking that NAFDAC, that is statutorily mandated to protect Nigerians against all forms of impurities in our food, that they have been silent on it. I thought we should have a additional prayer that seeks to condemn NAFDAC's seeming indifference to this otherwise dangerous malpractice all over the country.
We don't have proof of that.
I thought that we should not just urge them, as if we didn't urge them, it is in their mandate.
Yeah. So I think by way of additional prayer, you can say that we should invite the relevant committee on drugs and narcotics, should invite NAFDAC to brief the committee, and by implication brief the Senate on what they are doing to prevent this dangerous practice. So we should urge.
Mr. President, I'm so guided that
so
we urge the
committee on
relevant
narcotics
committees to invite NAFDAC to interact with them as to what they have been doing or how they intend to, what they will do differently to ensure that these abuses are brought to an end. I so move, sir.
Okay, so in that case, we can. It will be about two committees. Our committee on health institutions, secondary and tertiary, should immediately. Well, and any other relevant committee, particularly agriculture, too. Our committee on health and committee on agri.
Yes, because it's contamination. It's after the after harvest that they now use chemical to contaminate the food. So it's about his health. It's NAFDAC. NAFDAC is under health, right? Yes. Hmm?
Huh? So, distinguished DSP, they are suggesting that the two can go. Committee on Health and Agri. The two committees, because quarantine is under Agri. To invite NAFDAC to immediately interact with them to find out what they are doing to curb this dangerous practice. And if they are not doing anything, report back to the Senate. Yes, please go ahead.
Mr. President, I stand to second the additional prayer as moved by Senator Adams Oshomole. I so second.
Additional prayer moved and seconded. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me thank once again Senator Ani. You can see the time we have spent on this motion. It's almost 4 p.m. But we believe that this is a very important motion that touches on the health of Nigerians and even friends of Nigerians who visit our country. You don't know the fruits that you are eating in many hotels. When they provide you with fruits, you order fruits, you won't know which one is chemically ripened and which one is not chemically ripened. So it's a very dangerous thing. It's a very sad thing. And so you will not know when something happens to you, you go back home and people will go and talk. So I thank you once again for bringing this, and I thank my colleagues for their patience and contributions to this motion. And permit me to just make a simple announcement before we call it a day. The distinguished senators of the APC extraction are invited to attend an APC summit slated for tomorrow, 22nd day of May 2025, at the State House banquet hall. Departure time from here will be 1 p.m. Accreditation will happen simultaneously between here and the House of Representatives, and buses will be made available to convey you all. People are all expected to have been seated before 1:30. The program is slated to commence by 2 p.m. prompt. So we have our normal sitting in the morning, and then from here we all move together to go there. This is strictly for APC senators and APC members of the House of Representatives. But at the same time, because of the magnanimity of the Senate, we have extended the invitation. We have extended the invitation to intended APC members. So this I believe is fair and just, and so that nobody will feel left out. Therefore, minority leader of the Senate, take note. Accordingly, this Senate stands adjourned to Thursday, 22nd day of May, 2025 at 11 a.m. prompt.